In this video, I'm going to answer some of your questions around content creation. I asked these questions on my Instagram story. If you're not following me over there, you can feel free to follow me at Areeb Irshad. So let's get started with the basics. What is content? Your point of view. I mean, if you ask someone to define content, so content is basically communicating your message to the internet. See, if you are communicating with me, that is fine, that is simple, but that is not content. But if you take out your message and put it out on a social media platform or even an email newsletter, and that is a form of content, because now your message is being communicated to the world, to the internet. And content can be anything. It could be a podcast that you are listening to, it could be a book that you are reading, or it could be a blog post, it could be a video just like this. Do you make content daily or once in a week? So I do not make content daily. I allot a specific day. It is usually a weekend. Let's say it's Saturday or Sunday. I would dedicate that to record a video, because creating content on a daily basis is really challenging, especially if you are a working professional, and I have a job, so it's very challenging to get down to make a video every day or get down to scripting the idea. However, I will keep my mind open to jot down the ideas that I have. I keep a notepad with me. For example, here is a small notebook that I have, and I jot down some of the ideas over here. If I am working, I will just take it with myself, or you can also type the ideas in your smartphone. I'm a working professional and I cannot post daily. What's the solution? So I totally get you. If you are a working professional, first of all, try to dedicate 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours of undivided attention once a week. You don't have to dedicate it every day, because that would be really challenging. Let's say you have Saturday or Sunday, so hopefully that is a holiday and you are working. Let's say you wake up early in the morning, or you wake up at your own time and you dedicate 3 hours to do one single task. You don't have to put out content for every platform, but you have to put out content for one platform. Now you have to decide, are you comfortable with writing content? Are you comfortable with making videos? Of course, making videos is going to take little bit longer, not little bit, but sometimes it takes a little bit while, especially if you are a beginner, you have never shot videos, you have never edited videos, it is going to take a while. The learning curve is quite high. So what is the platform where you could get started easily? It could be LinkedIn, it could be Twitter. I would usually recommend LinkedIn, but if you want a higher ROI in the future, definitely try out YouTube. Yes, YouTube is hard, but it will give you higher returns as well. However, if you are a working professional, I think LinkedIn would be a much better platform for you. Now, if you want to get started with content creation, I published a newsletter last week. That was my first edition of newsletter. You can click the link below and check that out. It is free. You can know that what are the ways you can get started with the content creation. It is an in-depth article actually, and that will help you on how to get started with content creation. You don't have to dedicate the entire day, just 3 hours of one day, and then decide that what are the content pieces you are going to put out. Now, of course, you may not be able to publish it daily manually, so maybe you can take the help of scheduling or publishing posts. For example, for LinkedIn, you can check out Publer, you can also check out Hype Fury, you can check out Buffer as well. Now that way you will only dedicate few hours, and you won't have to consistently think daily that okay, now I have to put content, because now you have already scheduled the post and you don't have to worry about it at all. The next question is, should I start with LinkedIn or Instagram? So I'm personally not liking the vibe of Instagram these days. Maybe this is going to improve. Or I was watching a podcast, freelance podcast from Latasha James, and she said that change is going to be a part of life. I'm paraphrasing, it's not exactly what she said, but Instagram, be it LinkedIn, Twitter, or whatever the platform, they are going to change. So you have to understand that what are your strengths and how much time do you actually have. For example, if you are more of a visual person, Instagram would be actually great, or YouTube would be great as well if you have the time and resources. But of course, understand that YouTube is going to take a lot more resources, not necessarily in terms of camera and gear, because you can use your smartphone, but of course it will require some kind of time. So are you comfortable with dedicating some time? Or if you are more of a written person, you can definitely go with LinkedIn, because that is an obvious choice. I don't know what should be my niche, sorry. Is it niche or is it niche? I don't know what should be my niche. I have too many interests. I completely relate with you, because even I have a lot of interest. I'm interested in design. I'm interested in Apple's marketing strategy, consumer psychology, content creation, self-improvement. And then there are a lot of interests that I have. So I understand, but if you are focused on a lot of other things, people will not know that what they should be following you for. For example, one day I start talking about Apple, another day I'm talking about self-improvement, and the next day I'm talking about content creation. So it will be difficult for the people to understand whether Areeb is talking about Apple, whether Areeb's channel is about self-improvement, or is it about book summaries? What is it exactly about? So if you are doing content creation just as a hobby, so feel free to talk about anything that you like, because it's a hobby and it doesn't matter. But if you want to make money out of it, if you actually want to build an audience in the long run, it is important that you at least initially stick with one broad topic. It could be also a very specific topic. For example, if you are interested in, let's say, consumer psychology, so you can give different case studies and examples. For example, Think School is a great example of a channel, of a YouTube channel. They are making case studies of marketing, of advertisement, and they are also touching upon a lot of recent topics or news topics as well right now. So my answer is basically a question to you, that whether you have to ask yourself whether you are interested in making money instantly or immediately in the next 3 or 6 months, or in the long run, or are you doing content creation as a hobby only? So it's not a bad thing if you are doing it as a hobby. I totally get it. But if you want to earn money, you have to stick with a niche. The next question is how to create content as an artist, whether you are into painting, sketching, or drawing. The best way to create content is to show behind the scenes, because when you see a painting, when you see a sketch, that is good, that is interesting. But people, what I have observed, this is from my observation, when people see behind the scenes, when they see that, okay, this is how it was drawn, or this is how some of the shapes or some of the visuals have appeared on the paper, that is more interesting than the image itself. And the good thing is right now YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels is a little bit dwindling right now. I'm not exactly sure how to crack that, but YouTube Shorts is definitely pushing out content that is short form content. So maybe you can set up a camera in such a way that it is focused on when you are drawing something, when you are sketching something, and in the post production, when you are editing that video, you can speed that up. You can increase the speed, you can fast forward it and make it into a time lapse. So it would be interesting for the viewers to see that, okay, this person started sketching like that, and then finally this image has appeared. It is quite engaging for the people to watch, even if they are not from your niche or category, because it is just very engaging as a format. Now of course you would have to set up a cadence. For example, maybe you are comfortable with putting out one story or one short video every week, or maybe 2 shorts every week. You have to figure out for yourself whether how much time do you actually have in your schedule to put out the videos. But you have to put out the videos on a consistent basis, otherwise you won't be able to see the growth or the results that you desire. The next question is, content writing industry is being saturated nowadays. How do newbies can stand out? So do not worry, even if you are a newbie, and yes, it may feel like that the content writing industry is being saturated, but I have put up the second edition of my newsletter. Now I'm not trying to promote my newsletter, but I have already created that content, and it is free of cost. So in that newsletter, I have gone deep into 3 powerful ways on how you can stand out even if you are a small creator, regardless of your niche. So even if you are from the content writing industry, you are someone who is trying to crack YouTube, you are a copywriter, or you are someone who is a graphic designer. Regardless of the niche, there are 3 powerful ways that you can check out. I will again leave a link down in the description. This is the second edition of my newsletter. Also remember that any industry right now is kind of saturated. So content writing is a broad word, right? So everyone is trying to be, let's say, content writer. So rather than trying to be a content writer, what if you try to go a little bit deeper or a little bit more specific? Because content writing is a broad thing, but what if now you decided that you will write content only for the SaaS founders? SaaS is not like the SaaS Bahu, but software as a service, SaaS. And then you can go a level more deeper, because why not? You can also now talk about the SaaS founders. You can provide content writing services to the SaaS founders in Silicon Valley. So that is even more specific. So you can pick out some of the demographics, you can pick out a specific industry, and you can try to capture that. So if you are starting out, I would recommend to go a level deeper rather than trying to be a generalist, because content writers are everywhere, but content writers for SaaS founders who are located in New York or Silicon Valley or California, or maybe whose startups have been funded, maybe they are in Series A or Series B, whatever that may be. When you become that specific, people would be generally more inclined to purchase your services. All right, so these are my answers to your questions. If you have any kind of doubt, let me know down in the comments. I will make a video. I'm trying to think of a schedule for Q&A. Maybe I should make it a thing. Let me know down in the comments if you are interested. And then इसका कुछ करना पड़ेगा, ये हर बार चला जाता है. Yes. And I will see you next time. I still have not figured out the CTA, but I'm getting there. चलो.